And she said, Alan, I really like this hunky man this month. Can you put it on the wall by the bed over there? And I said, Ellen, this is a hospital. It's too risque for that. And she said, well, why don't you get a leaf from the plant and cover up that part? And I did that, and things were fine for the first day, fine for the second day, but the third day the leaves start shriveling up. Oh, I realized we used to laugh a lot together, and that it was the laughter that kind of helped me get through those difficult 3 years that she had a terminal illness. And we were still laughing together, and there was tears, as I said. And it's then I realized the power of humor and laughter. I may not know why this is happening to me now, but there may be some bigger picture that I can't see down the road.
Today, I am so thrilled to welcome Allen Klein, the one and only Jollytologist. Allen is an author, a speaker, and a joyful human who has turned life's toughest moments into a philosophy of humor and resilience. He's 88 years old, and his story is now the subject of a beautiful new documentary by filmmaker Sky Bergman. It's called The Jollytologist. And I have to say, it's just what the world needs now. Alan, I'm so thrilled you're here. Thank you for being with me today.
It's great, great to be here. I think it's George Burns said, at his age, it was great to be anywhere. I kind of feel that way some days, yeah.
So you came up with this term jollytologist. You've even trademarked it. But do you want to give us a little bit of the backstory of what brought you to doing the kind of work that you're doing to bring to this whole idea of humor in finding humor in the face of hard times?
Well, it started many years ago when I got married to my wife, Ellen, and we'd make each other laugh, and it was a great relationship. And a lot of our friends were splitting up at that time. We had been married about 10 years. And we'd say, why are we still married? And she said, because Alan, you make me laugh. And I always said, Ellen, it's always an adventure with you. I never knew when I came home from work if we'd have a quiet dinner with candlelight and flowers, or there'd be a house full of 50 people she decided to invite and make a big pot of minestrone soup or, something like that. So
Yeah.
life was always an adventure. I was pretty quiet and she kind of drew me out and we used to laugh a lot together. Then we moved to San Francisco. We got a big Victorian house, which I always wanted from New York City. After 3 years, we got the house. She had a rare liver disease, primary biliary cirrhosis. And she passed away, and it was terrible. I gave up a business I had, and I had a 10-year-old daughter at the
Mhm.
time. So it was a very, very difficult time. But I kept remembering that even in the hospital, we would laugh. The laughter continued. There were lots of tears, but we also laughed a lot. I remember Yvonne, we had a copy of Play Girl magazine with the male nude centerfold. And she said, Alan, I really like this hunky man this month. Can you put it on the wall by the bed over there? And I said, Ellen, this is a hospital. It's too risque for that. And she said, well, why don't you get a leaf from the plant and cover up that part? And I did that, and things were fine for the first day, fine for the second day, but the third day the leaves start shriveling up, revealing what we were trying to hide, and we would just start laughing. And so after she died, I realized it wasn't a lot of laughter, maybe 20 seconds, right? But it was continuous because every time we'd look at a leaf or a plant or a shriveled leaf, we would start to laugh. And so I realized how it helped us get through that difficult time,
Yeah.
how it gave us a reprieve, how it helped us rise above the situation. And I
Yeah.
realized that that's what laughter often does, helps you get that perspective in any situation. And so I had a business in San Francisco. I gave that up. I went back to school to learn about death and dying. I became a hospice volunteer. I became a home health aide. And I would often
Wow.
see people who were seriously ill, terminally ill, and yet there'd still be laughter. And sometimes it was sarcastic, cynical humor, but it was maybe the only thing they had left, being able to get that perspective with the humor. And so went back to school, got a master's degree in human development, and my thesis was the healing power of humor, which turned into my first book, although the writing is very different from the thesis and the book.
Yeah, it would have to be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so
Yeah, that
that's
whole idea of humor in hard times, I have to say, it's one of the reasons I keep my husband around is because he makes me laugh on a daily basis.
uh-huh.
And I always say that I won the in-law lottery because that's the way they operate. When stuff goes down that's hard, there's always laughter in the midst of it. I
Hmm.
feel really fortunate to have married into that.
That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, it makes a big difference. I imagine, I mean, did it help you then when you're a single father to a 10-year-old daughter? Like, are there
Yeah,
examples
right
you?
after my wife died, because she and I were going through that for 3 years, seeing my
Wow.
wife go steadily downhill. And so I said, Sarah, we need an adventure. And I booked inland passage trip in Hawaii on a ferry, and you stop at various ports, and we saw puffins and sea lions and, all kinds of things. And it was just, we spent a night on a glacier. And, I don't know why I did it. It was like not my nature to do that, but something inside of me said, you got to do this. And it helped me bond with my daughter so well. But it wasn't like pre-planned. It was just like a gut feeling that
Yeah, I think she
we
mentions that in the movie.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
beautiful. Oh my goodness, I can't wait for people to see this movie. I really do think it is literally what the world needs now is this
You want to
idea.
tell them what movie it is? Because they don't
Yes.
know.
I mentioned it in the intro, but it's
All
the
right. Okay.
Jollytologist is the name of it. And there is going to be a chance for people to see that. This episode will be out in time for people to get to watch it. I'll have links in the show notes for people. This is your chance to go see it. And it's short too. It was 30
30
something
minutes,
minutes.
half hour.
Hey, you just got to see the first screening with a live audience.
Oh my
How
God.
was that?
I didn't expect it. Of course, a lot of the people knew me in the audience. There were over 100 people. And so I thought, okay, it'll get a standing ovation, which it did, but it also got cheering and screaming for maybe
Oh,
5 minutes. And I couldn't go on. I was tearing up. It was just so overwhelming. And the other thing, Sky Bergman, who's the fabulous director, she set this up because she wanted to see the reaction to the audience. So, as you just said, you laughed in certain places, you were a little teary-eyed in certain places.
oh,
It
wow.
was just like beyond, And I keep like when my wife died, I asked, why me, right? Why is this happening to me? And now I've been asking the same thing. Why did this documentary happened about me, my life? And everyone says, well, you've done so much, you've lightened up the world, your books, your TED Talk.
Is it 15 books, Alan?
When I count the reprints and the different publishers and the different formats, it's over 30.
Oh, whoa.
Maybe I've actually written 17 of those, and then there's new life to,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of putting some good love out into the world.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the thing that when I look back at my life, I go, yeah, but you had the tragedy and you were kicked out of Yale Drama School when you wanted to be a scenic designer. You've had all these setbacks. And I don't know, somehow I managed to turn those around, get over those.
They talk about some people are like born with the happy gene. Are you that guy?
It's interesting because when I was a kid, I was very serious. I was
Really?
probably the serious kid in the neighborhood. And my wife had this theory that whatever you don't get when you're younger, in your very young years, you probably get in your later years. And
I'm
somehow now
hearing then that you've cultivated it.
when
That's
I
what I'm
look
hearing.
back,
You
I thought
chose
that is
it.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah. I'm actually glad to hear that it wasn't something that was just your nature, because that gives me hope for myself and the rest of most people in the population. We
right.
struggle and we do ask, why is this happening to me? Or,
Yeah.
why can't, there's a lot of that, I think, that we struggle with when things happen.
Yeah.
Why
One of the
me?
things I think that gets me through stuff, I believe in a higher power, and
Hmm.
that I may not know why this is happening to me now, but there may be some bigger picture that I can't see down the road. I don't know why my wife died, but when I look back, maybe I've reached 1 million people in the world through my books and my speaking, and now the video, the documentary. Maybe that's why she died. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I listened to my gut a lot. Like, I became a professional speaker after she died because I wanted to share that message of humor and positivity. Yet, when I look back at speaking, like in college, I almost failed that. I think I got a D minus or something because I hated to get up in front of a group and speak.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Even though I was a performer, but speaking in public, very different for me, as opposed to having a script where I'm saying somebody else's words, all the things that go into
Yeah.
telling a story. I could totally buy into that story and get up on that stage and be all in, but to get up in front of a group of people and speak about anything remotely important to me, I would start crying and unable to form
Mm.
words. I think what happened, I'm guessing for you, because it's what happened for me, is that you found a mission of sorts.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I was scared stiff,
Yeah.
I was on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry, 1,500 people in the audience, and I had never
Wow.
spoken to that many people.
Wow.
But once I got into my message, I just concentrated on my message. Now, unlike you, if I had to follow a script and say someone else's words, that would panic me a lot because what if I forget them? What if I can't remember the next line?
These days, that would panic me too, Alan. I don't know if I have the memory that I had when I was younger. When I was younger, I could memorize easily, I could memorize a
Uh-huh.
whole play. But these days, I haven't been on stage speaking somebody else's lines in a long time.
So I
Yeah.
went to a lot of Broadway shows since I was 7. I
Yeah.
did lots of summer stock for 5 years. I was a designer in summer stock and
And you designed sets for the Captain Kangaroo,
Captain Kangaroo. Some
right?
of your older listeners might remember Merv Griffin, Jackie Gleason
Holy
show. I was
cannoli. Wow.
assistant designer on the Ed Sullivan show. But prior to that, I did 5 seasons of summer stock. And so that meant designing 10 shows in 10 weeks. And it was how I learned my craft. It's how I learned my craft and became a full-fledged scenic designer.
And didn't make it through the Yale program that you were in,
Yeah, it was a
but
3-year master's.
nonetheless went out and nailed it as a professional.
Yeah, in the first 3 years when my fellow classmates was still at school, I was doing CBS on television designing.
You're unstoppable.
So
That
I didn't know why I'm being kicked out of Yale, but down because I couldn't see down the road.
right.
But looking back, that was like one of the best things ever because then I got to be as an apprentice in the design union and then took the tests and passed. I mean, failed the first time, passed the second time. So I was designing professional shows, my fellow classmates who were still at school. So I could have had it all worked out that I stayed at Yale. I probably would have been doing college productions at that
It sounds
time.
to me like what you have always had probably is resilience. You got grit, Alan.
Why? Why me? I ask, why me? What?
Yeah.
I don't know. And because I mean, I have friends that are getting older and they don't do stuff, and that's no way to live. So I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like I should have asked you this in the beginning, but can you tell us how you came up with the term Jollytologist?
So I got a master's degree in humor, therapeutic humor.
Mm-hmm.
And the term for laughter in Greek is gelos, Gelos. And so I started to call myself a gelotologist, but that didn't sound, that was like the dessert. So I changed it to jollytologist, and people knew what that was. So some people say, well, why didn't you say jollyologist? Right? I mean, that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. I just came up with Jollytologist, but now I say, well, now I can't think of it. I'm like, oh yeah, a proctologist.
Oh,
Jollytologist, proctologist.
I love it. That's hilarious. Okay, so I have a question for you. Do you remember any particular moment when the pursuit of humor became an intentional practice for you? Because it sounds to me like this is very intentional.
So it was after my wife died that I realized we used to laugh a lot together. And that it was the laughter that kind of helped me get through those difficult 3 years that she had a terminal illness. And we were still laughing together, and there was tears, as I said, and it's then I realized the power of humor and laughter and how it could help you get over things. And it was also the time in Norman Cousins, he claimed he healed himself with a rare liver disease with laughter. And so I was reading that and kind of paralleling my own experience of how I felt better when I was laughing. And sometimes it was laughter and tears, one after the other. I couldn't go through life in tears. It like stops my life. And that after Ellen died, how was I going to show my daughter that we need to get on with life? So
Mm.
somehow I mean, I didn't consciously think about that time, but I think something within me knew that I have to teach my daughter to start enjoying life again. And that's
Boy,
why we took the trip to Alaska.
isn't it amazing how your love for your kids can get you through really hard things?
Yeah. And she helped me do that. She would,
Yeah.
Dad, let's do this. Let's. And now, even now, this is so amazing to me. During COVID, the beginning of COVID, I used to see her about once a week. And then she said, Dad, I don't want to come over the house because it's COVID time. I could bring it to you or you can bring it to me. And
Right.
so we start at 5 o'clock every day. She would call me on the phone. We still do that.
Oh,
Now,
that's
tonight we're
awesome.
not because she's going out to dinner around that time, but any other time, she calls me at 5 o'clock, and this has been going on for years.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And some
That's so
days I'll
cool.
go, Sarah, I don't have anything to talk about today. And like 30, 40 minutes later, we're still on the phone chattering away.
Oh, that's so great. My mother-in-law, she and her sister, who just recently passed away, it was her younger sister, they would talk every day at 5 o'clock and have a cocktail, martini and a gin and tonic.
All
So
right.
5 o'clock every day was cocktail hour and
You
sister
know
time.
what? My daughter doesn't drink, but I love vodka martinis. Maybe
Uh,
I should introduce
maybe you
into
should meet my
so,
mother-in-law. Oh my gosh,
so
you could.
yeah, that'd be great.
I think at one point in the movie, there was a thing about red noses, and you talked about maybe the idea of just putting on a red nose. And, And driving around, I need to get one of those. This one has strings. It's like doing
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
Look,
a
what can I
little
do with
tight.
my hair here?
Oh, hey, oh, I love that. I can't do that.
Oh. My husband has a haircut like yours. He likes to say any day with hair is a good
Oh,
hair day. But I
yeah,
thought, oh my gosh, how fun would that be if I just had a red spongy nose like you do,
yeah,
and I could just have it handy and then just see who notices me driving around in the
yeah,
car with
yeah.
the
I
red
have
nose.
I have used this so many times. When I'm walking my dog in the morning, I play this new game now for myself, and people coming at me, I say good morning. I try to get as many people to react back as I can. This morning, I missed one runner who was on her earphones and stuff, but most of the other people, sometimes they'll just shake their head or something, but I want to get a reaction. I want to wake them up because they're often on their phones or they have the listening to something on their earpieces.
Yeah.
It's like it gives me joy to bring joy to other people. If I can just get a 10-second good morning out of them, I'm happy, or a big smile or something. Yeah.
Yeah. What else do you do on the daily to
So we were years ago, I used to travel a lot speaking around the country, and I get into situations where the plane was like 3 hours late, right? And everyone is so grumpy, and they're getting on the plane. And I got on near the beginning and I asked the flight attendant who was standing there greeting people, I said, if you feel like it, here's a red clown nose. You might want to put it on and see how people react to it as you're coming in. So she put it on, and I said, could I stand next to you to watch the reaction? She said yes. And so I would say 9 out of 10 people saw her and lit up, but
uh-huh.
there was a bunch of people who, like, you cannot take my anger away. You can't, I'm upset, we're late. So they like look away from her. But I think it helped lighten people up a little bit, they just because they would smile all of a sudden. And
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think it is that shifts internally when we allow ourselves to be playful?
I think people aren't playful because and I'm one of them, when I was growing up, I was told to settle down, get serious, wipe that smirk off your face, all of that stuff. And even though I was a serious child, I would hear that around me to other kids in my class. And so suddenly we grow up and we continue, wipe that smirk off your face, stop smiling. We become real serious, and the world is real serious, and we need to take care of stuff to make it a better world. But I think when we get over serious, it gets in the way, because we start to get angry, right? And it blocks doing good work. And
Yeah.
people like you better when you're smiling with them, when you're laughing with them. They like you better. If you're a boss, they're more apt to do what you want to do because they like you. They
Yeah.
want to do things, for people they like. So it's kind of a very simple idea, basic idea, but people just forget,
It's
we
so
forget.
simple and so hard to tap into. Right? Like we've
Yeah,
been, and we're so naturally wired to play. Like that's how we learned how to talk and walk and do all the things that we do as humans, right? Was through play. I think about
right,
babies making noises with their mothers, mama, 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 da 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 da.
right.
If that's a game, that's not.
Yeah, yeah,
That's, walking and they get up and they fall down and they get up and they fall down and
yeah,
what do the
yeah.
parents do? They go, "Yay!" And
Yeah.
it's
So
so
I think
amazing.
tapping into our childlike wonder too, and because every day is new. Even though you might go to work the same way, you can start looking for different things or things that lighten you up or make you smile. I look for faces in odd places, like the back of a motorcycle might have the two lights and might have some chrome thing at the bottom that's the mouth. Or, oh, the other day I was cutting my banana to put in my cereal, and the little seeds inside was this big
It's like a little
smiley
face.
face.
I do a little something, and I do it a lot actually. Whenever I cut open, especially the red peppers, bell peppers, I love the red ones especially. But when you slice them in half and you turn them around to the opening, they have these, like, their little seeds look like
Uh-huh.
teeth, and so I keep googly eyes in a little thing by my kitchen counter
And you
so
put
that I
eyes?
can I can put the little googly eyes on and
Yeah,
take a
yeah,
picture of my red pepper for the day. So I think someday I'm gonna do
that's
something with
great.
that.
I love the eyes, but I like to find more natural, like a
Yes.
puddle on the street or,
Yeah.
just, and
Naturally
people are
just
now
there.
sending me pictures of all
Uh,
kinds of
okay,
stuff.
now I'm gonna be on the lookout and I'm gonna be sending you things. Watch out.
Good. I love it. Faces in odd places, I call it.
Uh, I
Yeah.
love that. What do you think that it is that people often misunderstand about choosing joy after hardship or during hardship, even?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what it is. We're not brought up that way. We're not, I I don't know. Can I say I don't know? I don't have all the
Absolutely.
answers. You
Yeah,
know, I
that's
just do
refreshing,
for
actually.
myself. Yeah, I don't have all the answers. I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but it didn't serve me. And after my wife died, I became a hospice volunteer. And I worked with a younger woman in her 30s whose mother died, and they were very close, and I understood that. And she was grieving, but she was grieving for 2 years.
Mm,
She hardly went out of the house. She didn't date anyone. She was single. She didn't have much joy in her life. And what I noticed was two lives were lost. Her mother
mm,
was gone, and the daughter now really had no life. It was a very sad life. Whoever created us, I don't think that's what they had in mind. that that we're here to enjoy life. We're here to help people. We're here to make life better. And it's sad that the daughter was that way, but it was a real eye opener to me that I don't think you should stop grieving the person you love, but it shouldn't be everything you do in your life
yeah.
because it just ruins your life and they're gone. They're not going to come back. But see, the other thing that I realized when someone's died is I have all those great memories. Right? I have all those fun things. That's what I concentrate on. We may have had an argument and I may have been angry with them, but it's not what I concentrate on. So that's the other thing is what do you focus on? Because you could focus on the joy, you can focus on the sadness. You can focus on all the things that go wrong or the things that go right. You always have that choice.
It is a choice. It is.
It's
And it's hard to
it's
remember that
totally
when you're
choice.
in the middle of suffering.
It's totally choice. So, like I choose when I was traveling a lot and my airplane was delayed, so long as I can get to my speech on time, and I always try to leave enough time to do that, I was okay. And so I'd go, well, I'm going to miss that connecting flight, but maybe I'm supposed to meet someone wonderful in the waiting room, or maybe I'm supposed to cheer up someone that's just lost a loved one. I didn't know what it was, but I didn't focus on the negative. I mean, it's cliche as saying focus on the positive. It's kind of a cliche, but
There's a reason cliches exist, though, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I think the big thing, if I have an answer, it's your attitude and choice. What are you choosing today?
Yeah.
It's raining and you hate the rain, or it's raining and it's watering the apple tree so I could have apples, next season. Or what do you focus
Yeah.
on?
Sometimes I think for me, what helps me to turn my frown upside down is stopping just to ask, like, just to get curious. I find sometimes, like, if I say, instead of saying, why is this happening to me, like, or why does this always happen to me, right? Sometimes you can really go down the pity party.
Right.
Why am I doing this again? Or why does this always happen? Sometimes just asking the question, what can I learn from this? Or how could this possibly be happening for me instead of to me? And just by asking the question, or even sometimes I'll even just say, oh, that's interesting? Isn't that interesting? That
Mhm.
observation
Mhm.
creates curiosity. Well, why is it interesting? Oh, well. And then I start to detach from the suffering in a way and get more curious and open to something other than what it is that has been feeling so heavy on me.
Yeah. And you're doing exactly what I was saying, changing your attitude,
Yeah.
choosing how you're going to focus. Yeah.
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 It's not easy
And
though.
there's little things you can, the clown knows sometimes,
That's right.
things are not going well, put this on and look in the mirror.
Right?
Things change, but you just change your attitude by doing
Yeah.
that.
It's
So
amazing.
sometimes it takes a prop.
Uh-huh.
You need a little help sometimes.
Maybe red noses all over the house
Maybe,
or
maybe calling up a friend that you laugh with.
yeah,
Sometimes we need a little help. It can't always be up here,
exactly.
but it's
Yeah, and
available.
maybe we're not always meant to be up there either, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it? I'm wondering if there was anything in this film that Sky Bergman has made of you that surprised you in any way. Were you surprised by anything?
I was surprised by how she and the editor, particularly the editor, took stuff and just the way it was cut. Just the, you may remember, and folks won't know what I'm talking about till they see it, but my mom in the hat scene, and she threw the hat across the Grand Concourse in the Bronx.
Uh-huh.
And the way the editor cut that, he had a photo of supposedly the Grand Concourse, but cars in those days going by, and then he just moved the camera or something so it looked like the hat was going across the roadway.
Yeah.
And I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. It was really like I loved watching the storytelling, the way she put this together because it's like interviews with you, photos, and just like the storytelling of it was
Yeah,
was
and then
beautiful.
Jamie Hines, who was the editor, put in this music that just fits so well.
Yeah.
And it, like anything that's really good, it looks easy. It looks like it flows and stuff. Some of those things we spent a week on just to get this 5-second thing perfect.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's a lot.
What do you hope that people will take away from or walk away from this film with?
Well, joy, of course, changing their attitude, of course. But I think, I dedicate the film to my wife, but also my mom has a big role in it, in that when I was kicked out of Yale and wanting to be a scenic designer, she said, Alan, everything will work out okay. And when I think back, it did. And so when I think back about, my wife dying, very tragic moment in my life, but everything worked out okay. I just, again, I can't see that it would, so I'm upset sometime by it. But if I could just remember that when the car breaks down, or I lose the check or what, everything will work out okay.
Yeah. Love that. Well, people can find the film. What is it? Thejollyfilm.com,
The
right?
jollyfilm.com.
And then where can they find you and all your books?
Well, Amazon, all my other books, Healing Power of Humor, You Can't Ruin My Day, Secrets Kids Know, they're all on Amazon.
Right.
Or your local bookstore could get it.
Excellent. And you're at allenklein.com, right?
Easy to remember. Just spell the
Easy,
name
easy.
right, Allenklein, or just put in the Jollytologist.
That's an easy way to find you, isn't
And
it?
yeah, not Jollyologist. Jollytologist, like what?
Like
Like
proctologist.
a proctologist, yes.
Turn your head and cough. Oh, too much. Sorry.
Right. Oh, wow.
Oh, Alan, this was just everything I'd hoped it would be getting to talk to you.
Oh,
Thank you
thank you.
so,
Thank you.
so much. And I can't wait for people to be able to see this lovely film.
Thank you. Appreciate it so much, Yvonne, and for having me on your show. I love when the host could laugh along with me and not sit there and wanting me to, do all the laughing and the smiling and the joy. So you are a joy. Thank
I'm
you.
here for you, Alan. I'm here for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And for those of you listening, what a great reminder this has been. That joy, I have to say, I think what my big takeaway is that joy isn't about pretending that everything is fun. It's about choosing, as Alan said, how we show up, even when things are hard. And Alan's story is so beautifully captured in this documentary. Again, it's called The Jollytologist, directed by Sky Bergman. This feels like a gift right now, and a reminder that humor and play and joy can live right alongside grief and uncertainty in real life. And if this conversation resonated, or if you know somebody you think needs a little buoying today, please share this episode with them. Jump in the comments and let us know what you think of this conversation. What is one small thing that brings you joy, even on hard days? Share it with us so maybe somebody else can try that too.